Although to start the second hour, we have more guests. I know I talked about Eric Franson not being here and me doing the show by myself, but I'm not doing the show by myself. Instead, we've had 2 guests on already. We have another 2 sitting here in front of me. We've got Skyview boys basketball head coach Kirk Hillyard, and their forward center. I don't know. Nobody's ever called a center in high school, but that seems the position you play. But that's Logan Deal. So obviously from the boys basketball championship team, it's the 3rd that you've won, Coach Hilliard.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. It's pretty awesome to have that opportunity to have great teams and be able to play on that stage. You know, it's the 4th one that we've played in, but the 3rd one that we've been able to win, and it's a fun experience. Probably the funnest thing about this one is the fact that it was here in Cache Valley. It was in front of our home crowd in the Spectrum, so close to home. That was pretty special. That was pretty fun.
So I guess you've won in 3 different because the first one was at Weber, wasn't it?
Yeah, first one was at Weber, and our second one was at SUU, Southern Utah.
Yeah.
At the Burns Arena, that's the Burns is Dixie, but anyway, at Southern Utah, and then this last one at the Spectrum.
Yeah. So and also basically kind of 3 different teams as well. And I think there might have been some players on this year's team that were maybe on that previous one. Maybe they would have been like freshmen.
Hey,
Logan, were you on that? Were you?
No. So all the seniors now were in 8th grade when they won that, so we weren't quite there yet. But,
yeah. So basically 3 completely different teams that you won. Sometimes you go back to back, but
right.
To rack up championships. But 3 different teams for you.
Yeah, it takes something special. I mean, this group was really special in that we were able to go undefeated in region. We were 10-0 in region this year. Had a great preseason, a tough preseason. Lost a couple games in preseason. Lost to Olympus, who's playing tonight in the semis of the 5A. But like you say, definitely different teams. The first in 2013, we had a team that we went in as the 3rd place team, but needing to win our last couple games in order to get into to qualify for the tournament, because they would only take 4 teams from each region. And the way the tiebreaker worked out, we ended up going in as 3rd, and then had a good run in that one. Our second one, we went in actually as 4th place, and were able to pull off couple upsets, upsetting the number 1 team in Juan Diego, and then this year's team going in as the number 1 seed, which is a little bit different spot for us going in there, expecting to win with that expectation, but having to back that up, and the kids did that this year. Logan was a big part in that.
So we have a few questions. I asked, unfortunately I should have asked the text line for questions for the Ridgeline coach, but I asked him for here, and there's a few that have come in. I know, Logan, there's a couple of questions that were asked for you. They're not, well, one of them should be a fun one. One of them's pretty simple, just asking, like, what motivates, you when you're playing?
For me, really, it was especially my senior year. It's just the last run, last season with all the guys. So, I mean, it was extra motivation. And another thing that motivated me was last year in the playoffs, losing in the semifinals on a buzzer beater. And sitting in that locker room afterwards, it was a rough experience being in the locker room like that. And so I think not only me did that motivate, but that motivated everybody. Hayden Howell, Carter Davis, Tanner Davis, Brooks Rigby, Kendrick Terrell, all those guys. It motivated all of us, and that was a big part of this season, and that gave all of us some extra motivation. Was that?
So one of the other questions, this one was from one of our texters, 3132. He asked, who's the biggest trash talker in the Valley to play against? Is there anybody in the Valley? I don't know. When watching the games, didn't feel like I saw too much trash talk, but maybe I'm not quite close enough to the.
Might be one of Logan's teammates.
It's definitely one of my teammates. I'd have to say it's Kendrick for sure. Me and Kendrick would go at it in practice. Open gyms during the summer and the fall, and we would just go back and forth, and I think it honestly made both of us better. We pushing each other, and it was Kendrick for sure, definitely.
So Kirk, I'll ask 3132. He asked 3 different questions, and this kind of leads into one of the points I want to talk about, because he asked basically, 10 seconds left, you need 1 shot. You didn't say whether or not you're tied, but need 1 shot. Who are you drawing it up for? Because it feels like. You ask, is it Logan? Is it Tanner, Carter, Hayden Howell? Like, Seems like you have a wealth of players
Right.
that on any given night you could draw up a play for.
And so this year we had 3 different plays that we practiced almost 3 times a week in practice, buzzer beater plays, different looks for different guys. And a lot of it depended on what side of the court we were on, Carter being a left-hander, if we were looking for that, if we were on the right side of the court, if we were looking for Hayden. Probably our one close game that we had, I'm trying to think here.
No, it was close against Ridgeline.
Close against Ridgeline. We had some tough shots. Carter had to hit a big shot. He came off of a screen and hit a big shot. Just kind of depending what we're needing. But Logan is a great free throw shooter, and he's a good finisher down low, and he knows how to draw fouls. And so if we were just ahead 1 or 2, we'd probably draw up something to go down low. If we were looking for a 3-point shot, we could get Carter or Hayden depending on the side of the court that we're on. And then I didn't really talk about Tanner, how his ability to break guys down off the dribble, which we had a play for that as well. So, we practiced those all year. We ran one of them one time this year is all, and we executed it really well. We got a good look. Didn't make the shot, but executed it really well. So luckily we didn't need any of those in the state run, but we were prepared if we needed one.
And so what was that state run like for you guys? Because, for a team like Ridgeline, they could just kind of stomp through everybody. But you guys were in some close games, a lot of the time. What was it like for you guys, especially in that championship game where it was, the score I think was like 8 or 9 points or something like that.
Right.
But it was close up until about 4 or 5 minutes left.
I'll let Logan talk on that for just a minute, what it was like, and then I'll follow up. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
So really, beginning of the year, our coach, Coach Jake, gave us a challenge. He challenged us to be the best defensive team in 4A. So that was one of the big things that we knew that we were going to have to work on, and it was from the first day at practice, working on defense, focusing on defense, and it came up big for us in the state tournament during that run. We had to play good defense against Logan. They had scorers Jordan Child, Justin Anderson that we had to try and shut down, and I think we did a pretty good job of that. And then we moved on to the semifinals against Crimson Cliffs, Jordan Eaton, a great player from down there, and all his teammates we had to shut down. And especially it showed up in the Dixie game big time. We gave up 2 points in the fourth quarter, and we're playing one of the best bigs in the state, Kyle Lemke, and it came up big. So defense was a big focus, and I think that it really helped us win a state championship, and it was big during that run.
Couple of things. I think Logan hit on some really, really good points. Our region, we have a pretty tough region. I know that games help prepare us. One game that I turn to in particular is the Ridgeline game. We were down at home early. We had to play almost a perfect second half in order to win that game, and we were able to hold them to 4 points like we did in the Dixie game. We were able to hold them 4 points in the fourth quarter, but we didn't have many empty possessions on offense against Ridgeline at home on senior night. But defensively, we did a really good job. And that was the one thing that we talked about early on in the season in November. Our defense is going to have to carry us. And we had several occasions when our defense did carry us.
And that you've kind of preempted one of my questions, because I know one thing, you guys were one of the top scoring teams in 4A. I couldn't quite find the rankings for exactly where you were in points per game. I think you were second in points, total points in region, but that may have come down to number of games played.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good scoring teams in high school. I've seen a lot of great scorers, great scoring teams, but you guys, the thing that seemed to separate you in my mind was defense.
Yeah.
Good scoring, but you guys, I don't know, I've not seen too many better teams in high school on defense, at least around here.
Yeah. Coach Henderson does a lot of number crunching, and so does Coach Jake for us a little bit. And Coach Henderson showed me before our state run started the point differential, our average margin of victory, and then offense and defense. And Coach Jake and I talked about it quite a bit. But they're all pretty close. But we did have a point margin of right around 15 points a game was our win margin. And I think that was big. Once these guys got a lead, they didn't give up too many leads. And so just really good offensively, really smart. And I felt as the season progressed, I thought we got a lot better.
Yeah, it just like you said, it's just defense. We had Carter and Tanner. We were usually in a zone, and we had Carter and Tanner up top, and those two have the longest arms, and they were just getting deflections, and that was a big part of it, because our zone really bothered teams, and you could notice that especially in the state championship. I think especially in the second half in general, we bothered Dixie with our zone, and I mean, it was just we just really focused on defense, and that was just big for us this year, and it helped us a lot.
So another question come in from the text line. It's kind of related to one of the questions I wanted to ask from our same texter. He actually texted his name, but I'll save that for I'll let you know who it is after. I won't say his name over the air. But basically talking about, you have a lot of offensive talented players. Yes, if there's ever a problem with selfish basketball. But I know, Coach, something you mentioned after the game, you actually brought up Logan here, saying I think it was something to the effect of, like, I forget the like ultimate team player or something to that effect. I can't remember the exact phrase you used. But it seemed like you guys had a team that really bought in, I guess, potentially starting with Logan as one of your team leaders.
So we talk, that's something that we've preached since I've been a coach, and our coaches preach that, and some teams buy into that and some teams don't. And I remember the interview you're talking about, what I just talked about Logan. It doesn't matter if we ask Logan to never shoot but to be a passer, if we ask him to shoot the ball every time he touched it, whatever Logan would do, whatever it took, if he felt like that would give the team the best chance to win. And I think it was a progression. I think as we started out the season, I think we had some things to work through, as does every team. Every season we have things we have to work through. But I think that's kind of evident when you hear people talk around, just talk about how well you pass the ball, how well you share the ball. It's fun to watch you guys play by that. And I think when those kind of comments are coming out, I think, kids that understand what it takes to win and what's best for the team. But I don't know, Logan, do you have anything to add to that?
I think that was, again, another big part in our state championship run. We have guys that can just score the ball, Tanner, Carter, Hayden, myself. I mean, we can all score the ball, and we could easily just try to go one-on-one with everybody and, try and score every time. But that just wouldn't work, and we knew that, and we all shared the ball really well this season. I mean, I think that was a big part was, we knew to get to where we wanted to be that it was going to take all of us, and it wasn't just going to be one of us. That was a big part. Was it all 5 guys on the court had a role, and I think everybody played their role well. And for me, some nights it wasn't scoring, it was rebounding and, setting screens, and I was fine with that. I was fine with that because I knew that I wanted to win a state championship. So we were all willing to do, different things to accomplish that.
So how much fun is it? Because it's fun for me to watch when I see a possession of you guys, and you pass the ball 25 times, and then you wind up with a guy who has the most wide-open three-corner three-pointer that I've ever seen in my life. How much fun is it to have a possession end like that, where you just pass it around, the defense is, they're topsy-turvy. Is it fun to play that way as it is for me to watch that?
Yeah, it's really fun. One example that comes up from that was when we played at Ridgeline. I don't usually shoot threes. I'm obviously more inside, and we had 8, 9, 10 passes on one possession, and Carter drives baseline, finds me out for a 3 on the wing, and I hit it, and it was just awesome. I mean, that's just what was fun about us, was we were willing to pass up good shots for great shots, and I think that was, again, something that was big in the run that we made last weekend. So yeah, just unselfishness, and it's just fun to play. It's just fun. Nobody's worrying about scoring 20 points a game. We're all, worried about winning, and yeah, it was just fun.
We challenged these guys a couple weeks before the end of the season. We gave them a little slogan to think about, and it was talent wins games, but teamwork wins championships. And so I think they agreed with that, and they kind of carried that with them for the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season.
So we've had a few more, we've got a lot of questions for you guys coming from. There's one that actually came in first. I wanted to save it till a little bit later because it has to do with next year. And basically, how do you, I guess you're losing, Logan and I think Carter and
we're losing 9 seniors.
Yeah, you're losing most of your 15-man roster. Is it going to take another 4 years for you guys to get back? And you get Tanner back, so you're not right. Starting on empty. But
that's what you do in high school. Every year you got to build the chemistry back again. But you've got to go with I tell Coach Chris Jansen, our JV coach, I said your job is to prepare some guys to get us ready for varsity next year. And so we knew that coming in. We knew we were graduating a lot of guys, and we had a lot of guys in varsity practice this year. But I feel like we've got some great guys coming back. We've got some talented players. Not a lot of varsity experience, which we understand, and we knew that going in. But we've got a lot of guys that I feel like can step in and fill that role. And it'll be kind of nice in 4A next year. We've got, thank heaven, some more teams, not just 13. We've got jumping up to 24. So that's going to be really exciting to see different teams, different talent, and not just be the North versus the South all season and focused on that. So that part's going to be fun. But I'm excited for next year. We've got some really talented kids coming in, and it'll be fun to see. Logan goes because they helped prepare Logan this year. They battled against him every day in practice, and we were able to watch those kids improve and get better over the year.
So, speaking of next year, there's one texter asking Logan, you be playing ball after high school? Are you looking at the next level?
Yeah, that's the plan right now. I'm not sure where yet. I have some time to figure that out, and I'm going to take my time with that decision. But, yeah, that's the plan. I've wanted to do it since I was in elementary school, and now I'm finally seeing that goal and that dream of mine, come true in a way. So, yeah, for sure next level is definitely going to happen.
And then there was another question for coaches. Talk about Dylan and Jackson, and what they meant to Skyview.
So Dylan has been around since Mason was around. I think Mason was a junior when Dylan came in. Dylan had a good relationship with Mason, and Dylan has been around in practice every day. He's been at all of our games, and he's been great to run clock, to do whatever we need. We give him a hard time, but he's fun. He's always joking. He's our biggest supporter. He's always there to give us a hard time as coaches after games and stuff like that. But it was really special this year. We were able to give him a moment against Mountain Crest when we were able to get him in the game and let him play for a few minutes, score a couple baskets, and he went 2 for 3. Scoring some baskets in a game, and just an experience for him, something he's wanted to do his whole life, to be able to play out there with his buddies. And so that was really cool to be able to see him out there. And then a couple weeks later, we were able to do the same thing with Jack. Jack's a funny one. Jack's like the tallest manager at any level in the state, but he is concerned about getting some shots up. Coach, we going to play today? We get some shots up. I think he practices. I'll be honest. I think he practices much or more than most of the guys on the team. They have a court at their house, and when he gets home, the first thing he does is runs downstairs and shoots some shots. And so Jack is awesome. I was happy for both of those two. I think they mean a lot to these boys by the way that the boys treat them and how they help us out. And so that was a special experience this year to have the opportunity for both of those two to be able to get some time on the court. And I know that Logan has a special relationship with those two, so I'll let him give him a minute to chat about those guys.
Yeah, one of the first things that I remember from Dylan was at Madison when I was a freshman. I wasn't playing varsity, but I played JV, and me and Dylan were just hanging around, like doing bottle flips and stuff like that. And he's just such a great kid to be around. He's always like Coach said, he's bringing the energy always, and it's just fun to be around him. And Jack, he's always, like Coach said, he just wants to play. And at halftime of the JV sophomore games, the first question he asks is, "Logan, can we go shoot now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can go shoot." And he spends the whole time out there shooting, and it's just fun. It was just awesome to get him in. It was definitely an emotional night, and as it should be. They deserve it, and it was just fun to give them that opportunity.
So, Coach, I'm going to ask you the poisonous question. So you've won 3 championships. Which of those teams is the best?
So, I've heard that a lot.
You had some special. The first team you got Jalen
right
there. You got Mason. But this one, obviously, those other 2 teams, they were 3rd or 4th seeds. This one was
start to finish. This team this year was the most complete, the best basketball team. But each of those championships means something to me, something to the kids. The first one, you have to have a dramatic half-court shot in the semifinals against Bountiful and Sam Merrill and Selgis and Pollard, 3 guys that went on to play college basketball, but a half-court bank shot to win it. I should mention that Ty almost banked one at the end of regulation in that same game, but then Jalen banked it in at the end of overtime. pretty special, and then go on to play a Valley rival in the state championship. The second one was just fun. It was a fun atmosphere, fun arena. It was far away from home down in Cedar, but always fun. Once again, that was also against a region foe in Bear River. And then this year to be at home, not against a region foe, against Dixie, who eliminated us 3 years ago at Weber State. So it was, I don't know, it was, all of them are super special. This one, as far as 23-2, is a pretty good record, unblemished in region. The things that these guys were able to do, pretty special. Just fun to watch them as a team. It took all of them. We had some great kids on the team, didn't get a lot of minutes. Parker Christensen, Will Schumann were awesome. Seth Chambers and Cole, my son, were a part of that and were able to give us some minutes at some times. But these kids were good friends. They always helped each other out. They built each other up. And a lot of times in practice, Parker, Will, Seth, Cole, and Kenny would go against the starting five, and they would push these guys and make them better. Parker was like another coach out there. He's really smart and really understood the game and was willing to say stuff at halftime, stuff like that when we needed it. But fun group of kids. Yeah, that's a tough question. Hate to pick one out before the other because they're all super special. These kids give me a hard time when I have a few minutes extra at the end of practice or at team dinner or anything like that. Sometimes we'll throw on a 15-minute highlight video, and they always give me a hard time because they'll look back and they'll see the tears in my eyes.
Here he goes. We got him.
That wasn't my plan.
But pretty special, pretty fun.
Yeah, I know it's always a wonderful moment. I actually watched two of you guys' state championships. I was there in Cedar and obviously here in the Spectrum. So it's a lot of fun seeing a lot of great high school basketball played here in the Valley. And I know you guys worked really hard for it, especially this team. You guys have worked very hard over 4 years, getting those 9 seniors, sending them out on a high note. But I don't know. It looks like Coach Hillyard's falling to pieces here. Luckily, it's after the season. He didn't fall to pieces during the season.
They're used to it.
Yeah. We're used to it.
They see it.
Yeah. We're coming to the end of our interview, but so thank you so much for Coach Hillyard and Logan Deal coming on the show. Glad to have you on and celebrate your guys' accomplishment here, winning the state championship. So thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We thank you for having us on. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty fortunate to have radio groups that want to follow these kids and keep track of it and talk about them. So we appreciate you guys and what you do for high school athletics.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having us on.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of the Full Court Press after this.